In this video from We Are Racing,
reverse switch fitted and wired,
and now we have reverse lights. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So by now you would have seen us driving the car, and we've done around 130 kilometers. 130 kilometers, that's just below 100 miles. Let's call it 80 miles, 70 miles, I don't know, around there somewhere, whatever. And the purpose of that is really what's referred to as a shakedown run. That's when we drive the car to check that all the systems work as they're supposed to work, and also to get the things that rattle loose, that would like to rattle loose, and systems to bed in and set in and do whatever they need to do. So that has left us now with a bunch of little things that we have to do and that we would like to do, because those are two very different options, or two very different things that need to happen. So little things like we realized that we actually put the windscreen the wrong way around and double-sided tape, or use double-sided tape, very strong double-sided tape to put the rear view mirror on. Turns out the rivets, I don't know what you call those things, to put the roof thingy on needs to be on the outside of the car, and we put it on the inside of the car. But Francho made a good point last night. He says that we're not going to put a roof on this car ever, so it really doesn't matter. It's going to stay the way it is. We would like to obviously change the oil, and when I change the oil, that little, and we'll obviously show you that in detail, but where we relocated the oil filter to the side over here has got a perfect little spot on top where I could drill through and tap a hole to be able to do the oil pressure sensor, and I think it does oil pressure and temperature, I'm not 100% sure, but we're going to do that. Water temps are doing absolutely brilliantly, it works perfectly, but what we realized is that the ECU came with its own water temperature sensor, and that doesn't fit on any of the stuff that we've got going on here. So what I decided to do is, on this replacement heater block that we got from when we ordered the reverse water kit from Wayne Sylvester, there's quite sufficient place on that little blank off block to be able to drill another hole through, tap it, and put the water temperature sensor there. So that's something that we will definitely do. Wiring is looking a hell of a lot better, and I'll show you that a little bit later. And I've taken some pictures which might actually be in the previous video, since it's not released yet at the time of me carrying on with this video, but looking a crapload better. And DHL actually notified us that we will get our delivery of the hazard switch and the toggle switch for the brights sometime today, before close of business today. So I'm still hopeful that it will actually arrive here. We ordered those from the UK, and I'll put the link to the website down below. They were just, in a word, brilliant. Ordered it on Thursday night, just after 4, Thursday evening just after 4. Before 5 o'clock I got a notification that the order was fulfilled, and by about 6 o'clock I got the notification that DHL had picked it up. A day and a half, 2 days later, that was in South Africa, but DHL does not understand South African addresses and kept on messing up my address where the stuff needs to be delivered. So probably an hour's worth of battle later, on their website, I managed to get the correct address in, and it's going to be delivered today, which actually suits me because we weren't here for the weekend in any case. So quite happy about that. Well, we realized that our gearbox, the reason we battled with the reverse lights, the gearbox doesn't have the reverse switch in it. They just put a nut in there, the people that we obviously bought this gearbox from 10 plus years ago. So can't really go back to them, can we? but at least now we've got a bolt with the correct thread pattern and whatnot, and this is a 4 Type 9 gearbox, so we shouldn't really battle to get that. What else is there? Ref counter. Our ref counter was reading the incorrect settings, and by hook or by crook, because I did set it properly, I got the idea in my head, go and check the setting. The ref counter can work for a 4, 6 or 12 cylinder motor, and it somehow went to 6. Put it back onto 4, it's working perfectly now. What else is there? Oh, Wayne Sylvester came through for us yet again with that little bootlet thing that we lost when we brought the car to my house. So I'm getting that from him with a little cover, because I think it's just going to look better when that stuff is in there. And that's probably it. So we're going to start now by getting the car back in the air. There's little things like there's a bit of a leak on the exhaust. We bought heat tape for the exhaust just to wrap it, to keep some of that heat out of the engine bay. So little cosmetic touches that we're going to do, and that should all be done in this video, after which time we will prepare the car for its roadworthy test. Oh, there's one other thing that I forgot about, is the little wipers. I'm told that we need to get wipers from a Mini Cooper, so I'm going to start looking out for those on a scrapyard, because we have to have apparently a wiper mechanism installed to get it through the road test in South Africa. So that's going to be a nice little challenge, but we'll see how we can actually manage that. But yes, then we'll start in the next video, we'll probably start the process of registering this car, which is going to be getting the paperwork done. We've obviously got a chassis number already and all the paperwork and stuff, so we have to get police clearance, and I'll take you with us on that journey as well of how to register a car. Let's get into the nitty-gritties. Oh, our next project. We would love to hear your input on this. We've got a couple of good ideas going, and then this weekend I came up with yet another idea. What if we did a crowdsourced or a crowd participation version of this car, a Lotus7 replica, where we change and fix all those little things that people complain about on these cars, on the 7s. We actually have everything that we need to be able to build a chassis from scratch and build it around the motor so that there's sufficient space for the motor. You don't have to battle. Well, to be honest, this space is sufficient for the motor. It's not excessive, it's really tight. Tell us what you think about that. If we do a crowd participation version of this car where we sort out all the little things that people complain about, like not enough space to get in and out, a glove compartment. I would like cup holders in here. And someone on this weekend, and I racked my brains, I can't remember who, said to me that there's a design out somewhere for cup holders for these guys that get cut out of aluminium and is bolt on to this. Tell us what you think. We would love to hear your input. Let's get stuck into this thing and get going with all those little basic things to get the car to near completion, to very near completion.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Alrighty, so I think an update is in order because a lot has happened. Brendan has wrapped the exhausts in tape. The plan with that is to just get heat out of the cabinet. He also replaced this fuel line that was leaky. Not too happy, and he did it quite nicely with very strong fuel lines, so we're pretty confident about that. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, I disconnected the axle, drive shaft, whatever you want to call that thing, because this boot is ripped and it's got grease coming out of it, so that needs to be replaced. And then of course when the car is back on its wheels, we can tighten up all these nuts and bolts again. We checked the diff oil, that is up to scratch. Perfect. Still don't have a fuel sender unit on account that we do not have a fuel gauge, and I'm looking for something that's going to match these three. So I don't want to sort of rush with that. Right, then moving around the side of the car over here, Brendan cleaned the inside of the car so flippin' nicely. It looks really nice. And what I'm looking for is some carpet to actually stick down on the floor over here, because that metal floor gets too smooth. This guy here we noticed is a little bit high, so we had to knock it slightly forward so that the cover here fits in better. We did buy the reverse switch and then I broke it, so I bought a new one today and that's going in. Hazard switch, hazards work. Happiness is. There's something wrong with the bright switch. I still need to figure that out. Front shop brought us a new battery, so lower battery in place where it's going to be permanently. We drilled a hole and fitted the temperature sensor for the ECU, the water temperature sensor, and immediately the car runs differently and much better. That means we drained the water and we refilled the water again. Obviously the exhaust is off to get it wrapped, and while we did that we also drained the oil and put brand spanking new oil in. And then we noticed that the oil filters, the spare oil filters that we've got, are slightly on the long side. Also we had a bit of an oil leak over there, and we noticed it's because that oil filter just only fits there where it's supposed to go. So yeah, I was at the spare shop today obviously, and I bought this guy, and it is ever so slightly bigger in a circumference than those filters over there, and it is just slightly shorter than that, so it's going to fit in the spot where we want it. So that's where we're at. Next steps, I'm going to fit the oil filter. We've already got oil. Oh, that's the other thing, we drilled and tapped the oil filter pressure sensor, this guy over here. So now when we start the car or swing the motor, we actually get oil pressure displayed on the dashboard, which is pretty cool. So we've already got oil pressure and that's all good. We just need to replace the oil filter and get back going with this. So we'll pick up with you in a couple of minutes.
A few minutes later.
Reverse switch fitted and wired.
And now we have reverse lights. How cool is that? Just make sure. Take this guy out of reverse. Reverse lights off. Yay!
A lot of boring math later.
Right, checkup time. What did we promise to do? We said we were going to fit the exhaust. Exhaust is fitted. It looks really neat. Clears everything that it's supposed to clear. And hopefully now it won't heat up anything unnecessarily. We've got some tape left. Might even do the oil pipes when we finish those off. Exhaust all the way on, nice and tight now with proper gaskets. And let's attempt a start. We also fitted a key switch in the in-between. I need to give some throttle. Let me put the camera on a stand. Little bit of throttle and she purrs like a puppy. Let's go check voltage. Charging very nicely. Water temperature at 40. Oil pressure at 64. Very nice. Oh, and the rev counter also now works properly because we changed it to 4-cylinder. Something to keep in mind when you put this tape on the exhaust. I wonder if you can see the smoke coming off it. It's going to smoke like a mother for the next... Apparently you need to let it run for about a half an hour like this under very much heat to be able to get rid of the smoke. So we might actually just reconnect the axle and go and drive it around.
Later.
Right, so I think this is going to be a wrap for this video. Let's recap quickly what we did. So we did get this from Wayne Sylvester, thanks Wayne, and we had to cut it to make it fit, but we can't fully put it in here yet because put that out the way, because torn CV joint thing, which I'll probably only be able to get tomorrow, and then we need to replace that. Aside from that, we still need to properly fit this guy, and to do that I still need up top there a little cover for where the hole is that goes through to the gearbox. We just need to cover it up. But the gauges are all in, all working, hazards are working. Up front here, everything's more neat. Exhaust is wrapped, oil pipes are wrapped to keep the heat out of the engine bay, and this is probably as done as this car is going to get. So I think this is it for our project, and in the next video what you guys will see is we will probably start tuning this guy, and what Francois said is we're going to do this as a road tune. I drive, he's got the laptop. Now in order to achieve that, we're going to dump these bucket seats for a bench seat so that it's a little bit more comfortable for the day-to-day driving stuff, and we left the USB cable in there permanently to make sure that we can access it easily with a laptop. Yeah, well, basically that is going to be it, as I said. Great, so very long journey. You know that we're already looking out for our next project. 100,000 Rand, buy, fix, modify a car and sell it so that we don't lose money. Please like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. And remember, life is too short to drive boring cars.